Welcome back to Awesome Possum Hobbies and Games. I'm Chris, and today we're opening a new Magic box, set booster box of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan for the new Magic the Gathering expansion. Let's go. Here we go with box opening number 2 for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan set booster box. I've already gone through and scored the back to make it easy to open, but just like the last booster box, it only has the wizard's printing on one side of the plastic. There's no nothing keeping it super safe from people going through and opening it and selling the contents and then resealing it, which is unfortunate because I know a lot of people have had issues with purchasing on Amazon from where people had sent back pre-opened boxes and then sending it back and then getting stuck with a bunch of lands in a pack or other comms or other junk. So this one I got online during the pre-order time and was sent out right after the pre-order time had finished. I did not buy this one from my local retailer. I bought it online on eBay from Flipside Gaming. Currently, the price I paid for this box is $114.75. Currently, the cheapest price you could find for boxes of set boosters that have 30 packs is $108 online, and that includes free shipping, but of course you still need to pay taxes. So let's go ahead and get into it. This contains 30 booster packs plus one treasure trove box topper. Last time I opened one of these, the box topper was nothing impressive, but we'll see if we get anything decent in this one. Because it is a single card pack, I have a hard time with opening these. Not that they're difficult, I just don't want to damage the contents. Fortunately, something they added in the last set is they've added a little pull tab, which, oh no, it damaged my card! Doesn't matter because it is a thought vessel, which is probably one of the least valuable cards out of those sets. So, those pull tabs, danger. It's going to damage your card. Can't really see it that well from there, but yeah, it's, if you put it on the black, you can definitely see it got damaged, which is unfortunate, but that's what happens when you don't take your time and use the right tools. Let's go ahead and start opening some booster packs. I don't know what cards I really need out of this set. I gone through and purchased a few things already online for singles because that's the best way of doing it. I already bought this box, so I figured might as well share it with y'all. Of course, here's a good card for Commander, Growing Rights of Ixalan. Fantastic for 1 green, 2 colorless. When Growing Rights of Ixalan enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, you reveal a creature card from among them, put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Growing Rights, and it becomes a legendary land. It taps to produce a green mana, and it taps to produce a green mana for each creature you control. So it can really scale pretty fast. And on top of that, I see this being played in standard and a dinosaur deck, so that's cool. And of course, it's a double rare pack. The rest of them are going to be commons and uncommons, and I don't think there's any commons and uncommons that are worth anything, so we're just going to pass along. But we get a Petzalaza, Sun Favor for 1 white, 1 green, 1 red, and 2 colorless. You get a 4/4 legendary creature dinosaur. When Petzalaza, Sun Forge, or another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may discover X, where X is the creature's toughness. Do this only once for each turn. So for Commander, this guy's kind of bonkers. It's kind of cool if you're going to go through and build a dinosaur deck that really wants to have Discover. Pack number 2. There's our card. Crush the Weak, which is a set booster card. And then full common. Fabrication Foundry. The rest of them are going to be commons and uncommons, but Fabrication Foundry, 1 white, 1 colorless. And it's an artifact. It taps to produce a white mana. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate an ability of an artifact source. Pay a white, 2 colorless. Exile 1 or more other artifacts you control with total mana value of X. Return target artifact card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. It's kind of interesting. You're able to exchange artifacts from your graveyard to in play, and that's never a bad thing, especially if If you happen to have an artifact that is not the premium one, you know, you can always get rid of it and get something else. I've already put this in one of my commander decks. The rare is going to be a Bedrock Tortoise of this pack. This is pack number 3. Bedrock Tortoise, 1 green, 3 colorless creature turtle. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control have hexproof, which is great. It means people will be able to target your stuff during your turn. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Yes, when this guy goes into combat, he is pretty much going to be a 6/6. He will be dealing 6 damage, and that's nothing. For 4 mana, that's never a bad thing. Let's go ahead and go on to the next pack. Pack number 4. 4 out of 30. Our card. Ooh, Esper Sentinel. That's a great set list card. It's a 1/1 artifact human soldier for 1 white. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. That guy's kind of cool. I'm a big fan. I have him in a couple different decks. Next, rare for 1 blue, 2 colorless. Akal Pakal. First among equals. 1/5 legendary creature, a human advisor. At the beginning of your each player's end step, if an artifact enters the battlefield under your control this turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand and another in your graveyard. So it really, if you have that Artifact Matters deck, you're able to go through and really put some cards in your graveyard for craft, or you're able to, if you have a Graveyard Matters deck, you can throw that stuff away. And then you're also be able to put cards in your hand that make a difference. Unfortunately, it's only 1/5, but that 5 toughness is going to be brutal for someone else to be able to have to deal with. And looks like the rest of these cards are uncommons and commons. Go on, next pack. Another art card. Another set card. This card's from Mirage. I remember playing this set way back when. This card was not very good back then, but you know, it is what it is. Zebra Unicorn, 1 white, 1 green, 2 colorless, 2/2. For each 1 damage Zebra Unicorn deals, you gain 1 life. This card did not see any play from what I remember. Ooh, double rare pack. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. Squirming Emergence, 1 green, 1 black, 1 colorless, sorcery. Return to the battlefield target non-land permanent card in your graveyard with mana value less than or equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Graveyard Matters decks will love this card. You're able to go through and say, oh yeah, what is my best creature that's currently in my graveyard? Or, I'm sorry, return target non-land permanent. So you can also go through and do a Planeswalker if you have Planeswalkers, but I see this played mostly in the all-creature deck, and with the Squirming Emergence being the token non-creature or land card. And then we also get Xavier Sal Infested Captain, which is from the Commander set for 1 blue, 1 black, 1 green. Remove a counter from another permanent you control. Populate. Activate only as a sorcery. Sacrifice another creature. Proliferate. Activate only as a sorcery. That's interesting. I'm going to put that in my Atraxa deck to see how it runs. Although that deck does not have many creature tokens, we'll see how it runs. Art card. Over the Edge foil. Molten Collapse. Rest are uncommons and commons. Molten Collapse for 1 red, 1 black, sorcery. Choose 1. If you descend into this turn, you can choose both instead. You descend if a permanent card was put into your graveyard from anywhere. So this card destroys target creature or planeswalker for only 2 mana. That's pretty good. And then if you descended, you also get to destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. So any of those tokens that are not creatures, like the enchantment tokens or treasure tokens or food tokens or any other tokens, this really pretty much destroys non-creature tokens, or possibly a Soul Ring. So I can see that being played in Commander as creature removal, as well as getting rid of some pesky quick mana. Chalice of the Void art token. Single rare pack. Custlu Flanker, 1 white 2 colorless 3/1 creature cat warrior flash. When a flanker Katsu's flanker enters the battlefield, choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on the flanker for each creature that left the battlefield under your control this turn. So if you were able to border wipe or your opponent border wipes, you can just flash it into play and it's going to be huge. Or you can gain 2 life, scry 2, or you can exile target player's graveyard. I can see this being played in standard in the flash deck as a sideboard card. I'm huge about sideboards these days because sideboards win games. Yes, though most people are, when they play standard, are used to only seeing they're used to only seeing the best of one these days because of Arena. But you know, some of us don't play that. Advertisement. Hit the mother load, and the rest are commons and uncommons. So hit the mother load. 3 red, 4 colorless. Hit the mother load sorcery. Discover 10. So if the discovered card's mana value is less than 10, which it most likely will be, create number of tapped treasure tokens equal to the difference. So if you happen to go through and hit a poor discover and you only hit a 2, you get 8 treasure tokens in addition to that. So you're not out all 7 of that mana. You might be making an investment toward your future. Also creating a ton of other artifacts that you can go through and sacrifice for bargain or anything else. There's an art card. There's Strictly Better Magic, which is also one of my favorite Magic channels. If you haven't checked them out, check it out. The rare in this pack is Terror Tide, 2 black, 2 colorless sorcery. Fathomless Descent. All creatures get -X/-X until end turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. For those Graveyard Matters deck, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm a fan. I think it's cool. Next pack. Gnome token. Art card. Garbage. All commons, uncommons. And then the Overflowing Well. For 1 blue, 2 colorless, legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you mill 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. So if you're playing with that deck that is looking for different creature types, it's pretty good. You're able to throw some cards in the graveyard and then getting 2 cards as well. And then Descent 8 at the beginning of your upkeep. If there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, you get to transform it. And you transform it because of land. The Mirrored Pools. Taps produce blue whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by the Mirrored Pools. Up to 1 target permanent you control becomes a copy of that spell until end of turn. So you're able to go through and make one of your, it says non-land target permanent you control. So you can go through and make your land into a creature that you just bought, and you won't have haste. But if you already hadn't played, you get to attack with it. Next pack. Art card. Gnome. Foil. Okay. Rares. It's only rare. Let's check it out. Mazzalantli, the Great Door, 3 colorless legendary artifact. I think this card's actually kind of cool. I don't know how much play we'll see. I saw it play today. I think it was misplayed today in playing some Arena, but we'll see how it goes. So it is a legendary artifact. Taps produce to draw a card, and then you discard a card. Then you can pay 4 and tap it. Transform the Great Door. Activate only if there are 4 or more permanent types among cards in your graveyard. So artifact, battle, creature, enchantment, land, planeswalker are all permanent types. And then in the future, if there's more permanents to come on, it'll count those as well. So it flips, become the core. Transforms from Mazzalani, Fathomless Descent. It taps, produce, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So if you've drawn and discard a lot of cards, creatures, it's going to produce a ton of mana. Those Graveyard Batters decks will love this card. Will it be good? Who knows? Card, foil. Hey, this is a good pack. It's got 3 rares and or mythics. So let's go ahead and put it in this order, just because I want to. Restless Prairie. It's a land. Restless Prairie enters the battlefield, taps, and then it can tap, produce a green or a white, but does not count as a plains or forest. And then you can pay a white a green, and 2 colorless. Restless Prairie becomes a 3/3 white llama, white and green llama creature until end turn. It's still land. When Restless Prairie enters the battlefield or attacks, or another creature or other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So you're able to pump all your creatures if you attack with that 3/3. I think it's kind of expensive. I don't think it's that great. Illustrious Wonder Glyph. This is from the arena, from the commander set. For 1 white, 4 colorless, 2/2 ascend. You ascend by, if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Other artifacts, creatures you control get +2/+2 as long as you have the City's Blessing. So anytime you have tokens, anytime you have tokens, they count towards the City's Blessings. Lands count towards the City's Blessings. So, artifact creatures you control get +2/+2. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you get a 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature token. That card's actually kind of cool. I will put that in my Brea deck just because I need more ways of producing tokens. And I think that'll be fun. So, for the Mythic out of the pack, Bone Horde Dracosaur. This card is nuts. For 2 red, 3 colorless, creature dragon, dinosaur, 5/5. Flying, first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile a land card this way, you get a 3/1 dinosaur token. If you exile a non-land token, non-land card this way, you get to create a treasure token. I should say, yeah, that card's freaking bonkers. Bonkers. I love it. I think it's going to see a lot of play. I think it's going to see play in a couple of formats. I've already put one in my commander deck, so let's go ahead and go on to the next pack. Next pack. Got a art. Ooh, double rare, triple rare, 4 rare pack. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, 4 rare pack. Full art, Restless Reef, another one of those land cards, creature land cards. Enters the battlefield taps to produce a white or a blue, a blue or a black. Blue, black, and 2 colorless. Restless Reef becomes a 4/4 blue and black shark creature with Death Touch. It's still land. Whenever Restless Reef attacks, target player mills 4 cards. Man, it's cool if you're able to go through and target yourself for those Graveyard Matters decks. Next one is Ojir Kazlam, Deepest Growth. 2 green, 3 colorless, legendary creature god. 6/5 trample. When Ojir Kazlam deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature card and or a land card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. When it dies, return to the battlefield tapped and transform under its owner's control. The other side is Temple of Cultivation. For a... set this aside, it's getting too tall. Temple of Cultivation is a land. It's taps to produce a green, or you can tap a green, 2 colorless, transform Temple of Cultivation, activate only if you control 10 or more permanents and only as a sorcery. So if you got tokens, if you have lands, they count toward that 10 to make your creature come back to life. That's pretty cool. Roaming Throne. This card is currently going for $7 to $8, and there's a foil version, which is cool. It's kind of cool. I'm not a huge fan of this card yet. I want to see it played. For 4 costs, it is an artifact, creature golem 4/4, ward 2. When it enters a battlefield, you get to choose a creature type. So if you like elves, it's a great elf. If you like other creature types, you can choose any creature type you like. Roaming Throne is a chosen type in addition to its other types. If triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. So if you have that new dinosaur that comes while it's in play and you play another dinosaur, you have a triggered effect that it gets its power till end of turn. It happens again, but it doesn't really do much at that point. And this is kind of cool because I was looking for a full border one of these. Lord Windgrace as the this is the special guest card. And this is a mythic for 1 green, 1 red, 1 black, 2 colorless. That legendary Planeswalker Windgrace has 5 loyalty counters. To add +2, you get a discard a card and then draw a card. Then if a land card discarded this way, you could draw an additional card. So you get to draw 2 if you discard land. -3. Return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So all those land cards you can get rid of, you get to go ahead and return them from your graveyard to the battlefield. It doesn't say tapped. It's cool. And then -11, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents. Create 6/2/2 Cat Warrior creature tokens with Force Walk. And here's the best part. Lord Windgrace can be your commander. Yes, I have a Lord Windgrace deck, and I'm going to change commander out for that one because I like that art. It's cool. Go to the next pack. Spirit token. Art token. Poison Dart Frog. Okay. Single rare pack. It's a mythic. Ixalan. Sun's Avatar. 1 white, 1 green, 1 red, 5 colorless. 7/6 Vigilance, Trample, Haste. When the Sun's Avatar deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put any number of dinosaur creature cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Wow. Yeah, it costs 7, but if you're able to get into play, you know, one of those Growing Rights of Itlimoc or some of those other land cards that produce a ton of mana, this guy is a game winner. He will completely change the path of the game just by getting him in play. And because it has haste, trample, and vigilance, you're like, I'll put in play, attack immediately, and if I can do some damage, I can reveal that many cards from the top of my library to find dinosaurs. That is bonkers. That is super bonkers. Let's go on to the next pack. Art card, counter, foil, double rare pack, including, let's go ahead and start with another special guest type card. This is the card from the parts that are of Jurassic Park. Permission denied. 1 blue, 1 black, 1 blue, 1 white. Instant. Counter target non-creature spell. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. That card's great. Selectite Stalker for 1 black. Creature, Goblin, Rogue, 1/1. Menace. If you're able to get this out first turn and you're playing some Dissent, this card is bonkers. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And then, for 1 black, 2 colorless, sacrifice selects the Stalker. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the Stalker's power. So, if you're able to go through, you attack, and then you pump it, and they don't block it, well, you go ahead and deal damage, and then before the end of the turn, you're able to sacrifice it to kill their big creature or their combo piece or whatever. It is, I think that card's great. I think it's cool. I've already built a deck in Arena using that card. Is it good? I don't know yet. Cinder Elemental. For Fireball mana, you get to tap and sacrifice to deal X damage to any target. That costs a lot. I don't think it's any good. 1 rare pack. Cosmium Confluence for 1 green, 4 colors, sorcery. Okay, it's a lot of text. Get ready. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Search your library for a cave card, then put it on the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. Or put 3 +1/+1 counters on cave you control. It becomes a 0/0 elemental with haste. It's still a land. Or target creature, or destroy target enchantment. So you get any combination of the 3. If you already have a cave in play, and you can go through and just go ahead and target all the same cave with putting 3 +1/+1 counters on it, and it has haste. You're like, for 5 mana, if I have a cave in play, it's going to be attacking with a 9/9. If you have it like an extra land untapped, if you somehow have 6 lands, it's pretty good. Or any other extra sources of mana, so you can have land untapped. Yep, you can attack with a 9/9 for 5. Interesting. Would I do that? I don't know. It does a lot. I'm not a big fan of the Cave Matters decks, but it's still early. 1, 2 rare pack. Echoing Deeps. This card's actually kind of cool. Land. You may have Echoing Deeps enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any land card in the graveyard, except it is a cave in addition to other types. And then it taps to produce a colorless mana. Great for graveyard mana decks. And then next one is Starving Revenant. This is a foil rare 2 black, 2 colorless, 4/4 creature spirit horror. When Starving Revenant enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Then for each card you put on top of your library, you draw a card and you lose 3 life. And then if you just discard those cards, like a smart guy, unless one of them is going to throw the game in your favor, you can get closer to Descend 8 whenever you draw a card. If there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Yeah, very circumstantial, gaining life, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a garbage card. It's going to be a wait and see. Next pack. Our card. Non-token. Single rare pack. Abulo, Ancestral Echo. 1 blue, 1 white, 1 colorless. Legendary creature spirit, Flying Ward 2. You can pay a white, a blue, and 1 colorless. Exile another target creature you or artifact you control. Return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So if you need to blink something, you're able to go through, oh, you're going to target my stuff, I'll pay 3, and then phase it out. It's not really phasing. It's just you get to exile a card and then bring it back. It's kind of like phasing. It's just different. So you can activate those, enter the battlefield effects, or you can go through and save a card from being destroyed. Our card, token. Only 1 single rare. Amelia Bendavades. Aggregator. Man, ruined that name. For 1 black, 1 colorless. No, 1 black, 1 white. It's a 2/2 ward 3. So if they want to target it, it's going to cost them. Whenever you gain life, this creature explores, then destroy all other creatures if its power is exactly 20. So if you have an explore deck, this card could be bonkers, being able to break things and become huge. I think it's a lot of investment. Getting it at 20, it's hard work. Next pack. Cauldron Familiar. I love this in the set. I actually just put this into my Hobbit food deck because I think food is so freaking cool. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Sacrifice food. Return the familiar from the graveyard to the battlefield. Interesting. Foil. Single rare pack. Tarion Soul Cleaver for 1 colorless. Legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creatures have vigilance. Whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. And then it equips for 2. That card's cool. I think it can get bonkers whenever another artifact or creature. So if someone's playing a token deck, whoa, treasures. That thing's gonna hit huge. Double rare pack. Indoor Raptor, the perfect hybrid. So 1 hybrid, green-black, a red, and a colorless. It has legendary creature, dinosaur mutant, 3/1 Bloodthirst X, menace. When the Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid, is dealt damage, choose an opponent at random. Indoraptor deals damage equal to the power to that player unless they sacrifice a non-token creature. It's interesting. Well of the Forgotten, another card that I want to be putting into my Graveyard Matters decks that will most likely be one of the few non-creature, non-land cards in the deck. Well of the Forgotten, 1 black, 1 blue, sorcery, descend 8, choose 1. If there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, as you cast a spell, choose 1 or more instead. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Target opponent discards a card. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, the rest in your graveyard. So if you happen to be Decide 8, you choose all of those. So you're going to be making someone put their best creature back in their hand, and there's a chance they have to discard it. That's pretty cool. And then at the same time, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one in your hand, and 2 of them in your graveyard. So to get closer to Decide 8, if you're not there yet, I think that's kind of a cool card. Next pack, art card. Starving Revenant. We've already seen that card. That's garbage. Next pack. Come on, big hits. I don't know what big hit is in this set. There's a decent hit. Bloodletter of Ixalan. 3 black, 1 colorless for a 2/4 creature, vampire, demon, flying. If an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. Wow. So if you attack and they deal damage, you're going to be dealing double that damage. If you have some way of causing damage straight to your opponent's face, guess what? It's going to be dealing double damage then. If there's any other effects in play that makes it double up again, so like a lot of these red cards, guess what? It's going to deal up, double up again. That card's kind of cool, especially for Commander. I can see that card holding good value. And the next one is a full art Restless Ridgeline. Artifact land. Or it's not an artifact. It is a land that enters the battlefield taps to reduce a red or a green, or you can pay a red, and 2 colorless. Restless Ridgeline becomes a 3/4 red and green dinosaur until end of turn. When it attacks another target attacking creature, gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and you get to untap that creature. So you'll be able to hold it around for blocking. To be able to do that, you have to have 5 mana. It's interesting. I don't see it being transformed that often, but you never know. Set card, 1 rare. Okay, let's talk about that set card. Fabrication module for 3 colorless mana. Whenever one or more energy encounters, put a +1/+1 on a target creature you control, and then you can pay 4 to have to get an energy counter. So in an energy deck, this card is cool. I could see the new set, an energy deck being built in Commander. We'll see. The actual rare from the pack is 3-fold Thunderhulk. 7 colorless mana for a 0/0 artifact creature, gnome, and then 3-fold Thunderhulk enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, create a number of 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creatures tokens equal to its power. So it comes in play with 3 1/1 counters in addition to it. And then you can pay 2, sacrifice another artifact, including one of those tokens, to put a +1/+1 counter on 3-fold Thunderhulk. So comes into play as a 3/3. You get 3 1/1 gnome creatures. And then you can pay 2 to sacrifice it. And then when you attack with it on the following turn, you're making 4 1/1 creatures. So it's an interesting little card. Is it worth 7 mana? I don't know. I think it's easy to get the 7 mana these days. Consistently, not so much, but Ooh, this is a good pack. Double rare pack. One of my favorite cards from the set. Cavern of Souls, actually. It's one of the cards I wanted to get out of the box. It's currently going for about $25 to $30, depending on where you buy them from. It used to be worth a lot more. Of course, they've been printed almost into oblivion, but right now you can use them for dinosaur deck, you can use them for vampire deck, you can use it for merfolk deck. There's all these decks, and it comes in play untapped. And as Cavern of Souls enters the battlefield, you get to choose a creature type. One of those type of cards, elf or whatever. You can tap to choose a colorless mana, or too bad it's not. It doesn't count as a cave. They should have eroded it, and it also adds 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type. And that spell can't be countered. Wow! Dinosaur decks are going to love that card. Too bad it's a mythic. It's going to cost a lot of money to be able to buy a full playset. So even if you don't have 4, it's going to cost you $120, $100 to $120. It's a lot of money. And then here's a fun full art foil Bringer of the Last Gift. This card's interesting. It is a vampire demon creature for 2 black, 6 colorless, 6/6 flying. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creature cards from the graveyard that weren't put there this way from the battlefield. So you get to go through and put all your creatures, everyone puts all their creatures from the graveyard in play, and then everything that was in play is now dead, except for that guy. It's interesting. Our card, token, Brass's Tunnel Grinder. I think this is going to become a bulk rare, but I am actually a fan of this card, especially in Commander. I think that this has some potential of really getting there, throwing your deck over the top. I can actually see playing 2 copies in the Dinosaur deck right now, just because you're going to be getting some land that might not be optimal at the wrong time. But so let's go ahead and read the card. 1 red, 2 colorless, Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. So when it comes to play, you get to draw a card. If you discard any number of cards, including land or any other junk, you get to go ahead and draw that many +1. And at the end of your end step, if you've descended this turn, so including that turn, if you discard a card, you get to put a boar counter on it. Then if there's 3 or more boar counters, you get to transform it. This side gets crazy. Legendary Land Cave. It taps to reduce red. Other side, legendary, yeah. And then it taps to reduce red. Whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by this card, discover X, where X is the spell's mana value. So you are going crazy. I think I'm going to put that in my legendary deck, but let's wait and see. Our card, token, triple rare pack. Akal. Here's the special art from Akal. Akal. Life finds a way. Life finds a way. This is one from the extra set, the Lost World set. Life finds a way. Enchantments. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, or with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, populate. So if you have tokens, it's going to create some tokens. Deep Fathom Echo. 1 blue, 1 green, 2 colorless creature, Merfolk Spirit. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Deep Fathom Echo explores. Then you may have it become a copy of another creature you control until end of turn. Meh. Next pack. A card. Garbage card. Single rare pack. Corpse of the Lost. 1 black, 2 colorless enchantment. Skeletons you control get +1/+0 and have haste. When Corpse of the Lost enters the battlefield, you get to create a 2/2. Well, as a play, it's a 3/2. Black skeleton powered creature token. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, you may pay 1 life. If you do, you get to return this back to your hand. I don't know if I would return it back to my hand unless I really need more creatures, more tokens, and having to spend an extra 3 mana. I think it's difficult. Really mana intensive. Okay. Dinosaur, red green, 3 colorless. Palani's Hatcher, creature, dinosaur, 5/3. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. And when Palani's Hatcher enters the battlefield, create 2/0/1 green dinosaur egg creature tokens. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control 1 or more egg, sacrifice an egg, create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature tokens. So when it comes into play, it pretty much creates a 3/3 with haste and a 0/1 with haste. That 0/1, if it stays around to you on the next turn, it becomes a 3/3, and then you'll be attacking for 11 that turn. No big deal. If you notice the sarcasm in my voice, it's a huge deal. Last pack. Our card. Treasure token. Another Roaming Throne. Okay. We've already gone over that card. So that's it. Hey, if you guys like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. And if you know anyone that might like it, please do share because, till next time, keep rolling. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like the video and subscribe if you'd like to stay updated. Have a great day and keep them rolling.